All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another weekly stock market forecast. Let's go ahead and jump into it. This is for week number 11 out of 52. That's March 13th through the 17th. All right, here we go. Let's take a quick peek at what has happened the past 30 days. We can see the sector performance. Absolutely everything is negative. Real estate really taking it hard in the chin, down over 11%. Consumer defensives only down 2.2%, but everything being negative. We can definitely see a lot of blood in the streets. Definitely not very encouraging for your 401ks out there. All right, let's go to the year-to-date performance. We can see pretty much everything is down, down, down. The DIA leading the charge, down negative 3%. SPY is just barely in positive territory, but won't be for long at this rate. IWM is up only 1.6, and the QQQ still in the lead by a comfortable margin, up 9%. However, it's come down quite a bit from its highs back in early February, up over 17.5%. So basically everything is down quite a bit from its early February highs. When it comes to the Russell, let's first zoom in on the monthly futures. And I put this little squiggly line example here, we'll call it version A and version B, of what is likely to happen next. So basically, price should continue to come down a little bit further here in the Russell, and then one of two things will happen after a slight little bounce in support there. Either price continues to rally and ultimately heads higher. That's scenario B that you see at the top up there. But scenario A is after a little bounce off that support, price will likely come back lower down into that 1600 area support, and then we should certainly see a fairly good sized bounce to the upside from there. So really, as I see it, just visually in my mind, one of those two scenarios is very likely to happen, and we can see really the same thing in the IWM, same exact concept. Price could either really just head down lower until about that 150, 160 area of support, or we start to see it settle in on its weekly support and rally and head higher and finally break out of that weekly range that it's been stuck in. You can see that range bound trap that it's really been in. It hasn't been able to break above 2100, nor has it been able to break below that 1600 support area. So that resistance area at the 2000 mark certainly worked out very nicely for the Russell. Price has dropped down lower from there. Big down week this week in the Russell. That's that big red candle that you see there. And on the IWM, you can see it there as well. Same really chart pattern and concept where it's stuck in the range. On the IWM, that's really between about 160 and 210. And we're getting pretty close to that 160 support. We're just a little bit above 170 right now. Call it about 175, 176 where we're at trading currently. So yeah, it still could push a little bit lower, although if we look at the daily chart, we can see price has some support right now that it's in. But look at the two previous supports. The one at the 1880 area up there, about the 1900 area, that held up for a little while there, got some small little bounces out of it, and then it just collapsed. So clearly that support did not work. And then the 1800 area support, price just sliced right through that like a hot knife through butter and right into the 1760. It did start to see a little rally out of that. Yeah, that's probably really just short covering at that point, not necessarily buyers coming in, although I'm sure there's some bottom pickers out there that are trying to get that support. And you can see it on the IWM as well. Same concept where price broke through those two support areas on down into that 172, 173 or so area of support. And it did get a little bit of a rally there, but you know, the market closed and that was that. So not really that much follow through. We'll have to see next week if that really does follow through or not. I think we definitely potentially could get a decent rally out of this support that it's in right now next week, and maybe it rallies back up to about the 184, 185, maybe 188 area at probably the most, somewhere right around there. So if you're looking for a short-term swing trade for a bullish trade setup, I would certainly consider that one. I know on Monday I'm going to be looking for this to see if price drops a little bit lower, maybe in like a nice gap down, and then it starts to rally back out. So I'll be watching it closely on Monday morning to see how it reacts first. before I go either bullish or bearish on this one. All right, let's take a look at the NASDAQ next. Here we go. On the monthly chart, really same concept here, nothing that new. It's bearish directionally, but it did come out of its bullish location, that support there at 11,000. Same concept on the QQQ, right about that 275 price area is where that support is, and it's really just kind of been loitering there. It's been just marinating in that support area. No major push to the upside or downside from that support area. Although I will say, with last month's big topping tail and this month's so far follow through to the downside, it has a topping tail as well, and we're starting to see some downward pressure. That's telling me the NASDAQ is still weak, it's still bearish, and it very well could have another big push to the downside. You can see that a little better on the weekly chart. Notice we're still in that bearish location on the weekly. So, if you still think this is going lower, you can go ahead and get into a bearish position, a short position up here in this weekly chart. That'd be more of a longer term outlook, of course. But you're in the right location for a short, that's for sure. And with confirmation on the monthly charts that, yes, it's still looking pretty weak and bearish, not a bad way to go. On the daily chart, this is the one obstacle for you bears out there. There is support right here, right now, that price is at about the 12,000 mark or 290 on the QQQ. So there is support there right now at this price. So this is really where it comes down to, are you looking more short term? If that's the case, maybe you do buy this support area, look for a bullish entry on here. If you're more long term, then you're still bearish. So really, you have the opportunity to play this either way. You could come in with a short-term bullish trade setup, or a longer-term bearish trade setup, or even some kind of combination of both. Maybe for your short-term account, you'd come in there with some bullish option tactics or something like that. But on the longer term account, you start placing some bearish trade setups. Again, given that the weekly and the monthly are looking bearish, but the daily is looking slightly bullish. I wouldn't say it's really bullish right now on those daily charts. I'd use caution if you are looking to buy. Make sure that you have some good confluence and some good evidence to get into a bullish scenario. The next market we're going to look at is the S&P, but first I want to give you a quick update. I have revised the Free Traders Resource, guys. It's in version 2.0 now. All kinds of really good goodies in there, and hey, you can't beat the price. It's free. So just go to the free section on TraderTactics.com, download your revised second edition. I added quite a bit more stuff in there, as you'll see. So I hope that's very beneficial for you. Enjoy. All right, let's get back onto the S&P 500. Here we go. On the monthly chart, we can see, yes, again, still bearish right there. And I put a, kind of a projection line there as well of, if we continue to see more bearishness happening here, then definitely I think price will drop down into that 3,250 to 3,500 range support area. Would not think that would be unrealistic at all, especially given what's been happening recently. And so for the short side, for you bears out there, I think that's a really good target. So if you're short right now, you can use that 3,500 area mark, even a little bit lower to the 400, right around that range, as a good target to exit your short positions for you long-term short players. On the weekly chart, we're really stuck in the range still. So it hasn't broken out one way or the other from that resistance about the 4,300 area and the support at the 3,800, still holding on to that higher low support area. And that's really a critical area, by the way, because if price can hold that swing low at 3,900 and continue and make an actual higher high above 4,300, then that would signal a huge win for the bulls. And that would give us really some great buying opportunities looking forward here. But we need to see how that plays out. As of right now, it's in support. Let's see if we actually get a decent sized bounce from this and a rally up to that 4,200 area resistance. If so, that can make a really good short-term swing trade for us. I know I'm going to be looking for that coming up Monday morning to see how price reacts on Monday. And then you can see that lower support down there at the 3,600. That's really just backup, basically. If price breaks the 3,900 support, drops down lower, okay, great. Then we can look to take a bullish position down there at the 3,600 area. And then the exact same concept on the SPY. Price is dropping down into that 380 support area. So again, that's that higher low compared to the 350 swing low down there. And so if price can hold that swing low at 380 or 370 range right there and start to climb higher, that's a really great signal for the bulls. So make sure you keep an eye on that one. On the daily chart, we can see price has come down into that 39.50 support. We did see a decent sized rally out of that for a few days. It just turned and went right back down a little bit deeper, almost got down to that 38.50 support area. And that's really what I'm looking for on Monday to see, for example, let's say if it gaps down into the 38.50 or, somewhere in that range right there. And if it continues dropping lower and lower and lower, or if I see a reversal pattern and it starts to really climb back up, great, then I can hit it with some buy orders and look for a bullish position. On the SPY, exact same concept there. I'd be looking for a gap down on Monday into that 380 area, give or take a little bit there, and see if it starts to climb up higher or if it drops lower and lower and lower. If it continues lower, then I would certainly look to that weekly chart support down at the 360 area. So really, I'm going to wait and see on this on Monday to see how this plays out. Maybe it happens on Tuesday, or again, we're just going to have to see. But as of right now, if I'm a buyer, I'd be buying only short-term stuff, maybe like 2 to 3 day rallies, and then sell into that rally. On the longer term side, I'd wait for price to get up into a resistance area on those daily charts and then start shorting. Again, given so much that we're still bearish on those monthly charts, but again, that's more of a longer term play there. Other than that, on the weekly charts, I'd just play the ranges, folks. Just play the range. If price drops to that 350, 360 support area, great. Look for buying opportunities. If it rallies up into that 420, 430 area, great. Look for shorting opportunities. Just keep playing the range until the range breaks out. Okay, until price breaks out of that range, one direction or the other. All right, stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, for weekly market updates. I'll see you back here next week. Good trading, and God bless everyone.